Well, two New Mexico high school basketball players are now facing some serious charges.
They are accused of sexually hazing younger players. Back in February, investigators say two older teenagers on the Raton basketball team took turns sexually abusing younger kids on the team when they were on the bus on the way home from a game. Now, Rashawn Craig and Caleb Wood, who are both just 17 years old, are charged with criminal sexual contact of a minor.
As a prosecutor, I believe it's necessary that we bring the matter to the court's attention because, what may have been started out as horseplay or be considered horseplay by some, to others certainly isn't.
The two students were suspended for a couple of days earlier than the year, then allowed to play the rest of the season. And the school district says it does not plan to punish the two anymore right now, but will wait and see what happens with the criminal charges.
An Albuquerque cheerleading coach is accused of raping a 14-year-old boy. Johnny Mata allegedly met the boy through the private cheer club called Ultimate Destination All-Stars. Investigators say the two competed on two different teams. For the past year and a half, Mata was apparently contracted to work as a cheerleading coach at Albuquerque High School. Police were tipped off by a teen at another high school who had seen an alleged photo of Mata kissing the alleged victim.
He's a 20-year-old that's, put in charge of our youth as a coach, and he knows better or should know better than to engage in this type of behavior.
Mata eventually admitted to having sex with the teen. He is facing 8 counts of rape of a minor. The latest search for Dylan Redwine turned up no clues. Divers worked a small area in and around Vallecitos Reservoir recently, where a cadaver dog picked up a scent a few days ago, but they had no success. The 13-year-old vanished from his father's home near Durango last November. The reward for information that leads to finding Dylan is now more than $50,000.
We now have the 911 calls from a teenager accused of driving drunk, rolling and crashing an SUV, and killing 2 kids in northern New Mexico earlier this month. Listen to this.
Somebody was driving me in my car, and then they wrecked us, and then they took off running.
Do you know who the individual driving?
I don't know who was driving me.
Okay, that was Wayne Lovato, and despite what he says there, police say he was driving the SUV on I-25 just south of Las Vegas. 8 people, 12 to 22 years old, were crammed inside of it, and 2 of them died, a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old there. Police say Lovato eventually admitted he was the driver and that he had been drinking. He's now charged with vehicular homicide, DWI, and more. And police in Albuquerque still have a lot of questions for the driver in a terrible crash last week, and it killed 3 people. Andres Quintana is still in critical condition after this bad crash on Louisiana near Central on Sunday night. Police want to know if he was drag racing, and if so, exactly who the other driver was. A 1-year-old baby somehow survived that crash, thankfully. Quintana could face vehicular homicide charges if he lives. Also, investigators are waiting for his blood test to come back to see if he was drunk and or high.
On a different note, this morning, about 300 New Mexico high school and middle school students are gathering at the National Hispanic Cultural Center today in Albuquerque. They are competing in the state finals for National History Day. First and second place winners will get a trip to the national competition near Washington, D.C. Good luck. And happening now, some students from an Albuquerque high school will get hit with the harsh reality that you drink, you drive, you lose.
Yeah, it's all part of the Courts to Schools project, where the classroom is going to turn into a courtroom for people caught drinking and driving. News 13's David Romero is live downtown right now. David, tell us what this is all about.
Well, Matt, behind me is Metro Court, where the defendants usually make their appearance before a judge, but that won't be the case later today. Instead, they're going to be in the classroom in front of kids and a judge. And of course, judges say, make no mistake about it, this is very real. There are no actors. There is nothing made up about this. These are real cases, and the rulings could send somebody, or the sentences rather, could send somebody to jail. Now, every semester, Bernalillo County Metropolitan Court judges put on the Courts to School program at schools throughout Albuquerque. What will happen later today is DWI offenders will be sentenced in front of the kids. And before they're hauled off to jail, they usually have a prepared speech that tells students how their DWI has changed their lives, why they made the poor decision to drive drunk, and how they will try to improve their lives afterwards.
Our goal in the Courts to School program is to deter our young adults from drinking and driving, and to educate them not only on the dangers of it, but also really trying to affect a community and culture change.
And all of the offenders who are set to be sentenced today have agreed to appear in this program. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you, David. Sounds like a very interesting and insightful program. This is the third year that's the Courts to Schools program has been put on for the students. All right, the grand entry for the world's biggest powwow, the Gathering of Nations, now just hours away.
Yes, more than 700 tribes from around the world are converging on Albuquerque for the three-day event. It honors 3 decades of Native American culture. The 30th anniversary for the Gathering of Nations powwow is being held at the pit. The grand entry gets underway today right at noon. With drums sounding, dancers making their way onto the floor. At least 3,000 traditional Native American singers and dancers are competing. More than 800 Native American artisans, art craftsmen, and trainers will be displaying and selling their work. Tickets are $17 a day, or you can buy a 2-day pass for about $34 at the pit. Miss Indian World will be crowned Saturday night at 7. And for a complete list of events, check out the calendar of events on our website, KRQE.com. And a special event happening tonight at the Gathering of Nations. Some Navajo code talkers will get special recognition for their instrumental communication skilled during World War II. These code talkers would gather and transmit intelligence from the front lines in Iwo Jima. How about that?
Yeah, they did a very important job there, and sadly, there just aren't many of them.
Yeah,
left
exciting
living this
things
morning.
happening here in New Mexico this weekend.
Absolutely.